Located at Busch Gardens Tampa, Kumba is a B&M sit-down coaster that opened in 1993 and is, for being 27 years old, still giving riders a fantastic ride, also being a powerhouse. It is located on my home park, and so what I'll be doing in today's video is finally reviewing it. But most importantly, before we start, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe for more videos on coasters often. Also, if you want to see more, make sure to follow our social media pages for updates and much more. Now that is out of the way, let's look at the stats. Starting out, it is 143 feet tall, very solid for a coaster like this and that old. But then the max speed is actually very solid as it goes 60 miles per hour. It has 7 inversions, similar to what other B&M coasters have. And then finally, we have a track length at 3,978 feet long, and that definitely does contribute to the duration, as it feels like a very long ride. It also has some very cool characteristics to it, such as the loop going around the lift hill, the interlocking corkscrews, both of those contributing to the such photogenic shot right at the plaza of the ride. It is probably one of the most taken photo spots of all time for coasters, as it looks fantastic, but also you do have this really cool tunnel that the coaster dives into that is a really fun element. It is pretty smooth, as I have noticed through all my rides on it. I haven't always noticed a tiny bit of a B&M rattle, but it's not really bad at all. If you had to nitpick, you do notice some of that rattle during the bottom of the first drop, and maybe right after that dive loop, and in between the interlocking corkscrews, but like I said, you will barely notice it, which is good, very good for being 27 years old, just to think about that for a second. This whole ride from start to finish, you are pinned against your seat. It's just so intense. Probably right now, before Iron Gwazi opens, the most intense coaster in Florida, which some people could argue about that, but that's just my opinion. Some of the really intense elements consist of that loop, the cobra roll, and of course right before you end the ride, that really low to the ground helix, that every ride it feels like you could just reach out and touch the ground. But anyways, going more in depth, let's walk up to the ride. As you notice this very stunning color scheme, and as Kumba speeds by, you can even notice this from quite a ways, and that is the B&M roar this coaster has. Like I said, it also looks fantastic. It did get repainted for the start of the 2019 season, and still after the second year of the new paint job, it looks fantastic. You will go through that station wait, as normally this coaster does not get that much lines, especially if you have the other coasters in the park, such as Cheetah Hunt and Cobra's Curse, when they have a long line. As for which row, I would probably go for the back, definitely. If you have the chance, try both, because they are very close in how good the experience is for both rows. But you will go and enter the train, where you will be greeted with 4 cross seating, and of course your standard old school B&M over the shoulder restraints. They're very comfortable as always. You will turn to your right and go up that lift hill. Now, it is definitely not the steepest or fastest, but you'll get to the top, get great views of, well, not much of anything, but then you'll go down the drop, and let me tell you, like a lot of other old school B&Ms, like, these drops are definitely not the best. Same goes with Montu in the same park. There is absolutely like no airtime, even in the back, and that's probably due to that pre-drop, which makes the drop not memorable really at all. But then is your first fantastic inversion. That is the vertical loop, which is really cool, of course. The coaster goes around the lift hill. That is really cool to look at, like look down while you're upside down and see that lift hill. And plus, it is pretty forceful. Then you will come up into that dive loop. Though, wow, this thing is really forceful and just like a fantastic whippy element. I personally love dive loops, definitely more than Immelmann's. That is the alternative to a dive loop on these B&M coasters, and they're definitely made the right choice on Kumba, as it is whippy. So is the next inversion. That is a 0G roll. This is definitely my favorite inversion on the coaster, and it is incredible, definitely due to the pure whippiness and intensity of this inversion. And then is a little pop of airtime into probably one of the better Cobra rolls that I have ridden, just because and how, again, forceful this element is. But next, you'll take a little break from the ride going into the mid-course brake run. In the back, you'll come out of your seat with some decent airtime into these interlocking corkscrews that are really fun and of course also look fantastic. Then you'll come up into a little bit of a straight section and you'll dive down into this really cool tunnel, and you definitely whip in the back seat, and you'll finally come into your last element, that is the helix, ending out the ride. I personally always love Kumba every single time I ride it, so for its overall score, it'll get a very solid 9 out of 10. The reason of this is that it is just super fun, but probably for me riding it so much on my home park, it did bump down 1 point, but overall, of course, it is still a great coaster and for sure the second best ride at Busch Gardens Tampa. So, what do you think of Kumba and my review on it? Make sure to post that in the comments below, and of course, make sure to subscribe for more videos like this often. And see ya.